What color Ferrari should I buy? I have 20 bucks. I have 20 bucks. What color Ferrari do I buy when I succeed? Image at ridiculous statement, often equivalent to a ridiculous question, quite often found here at the forum. The poker face for the entrepreneur, rather hypothetical questions about things that are months, perhaps years away. And that's assuming you get off your ass and do something, and do it right. I can't count how many times someone asks a question that is so far into the f-king future, something that may or may not happen, that asking it is pure mental masturbation. An excuse not to move forward. A reason to say, folks, entrepreneurship is not easy. If you're trying to invent a new product, your only focus should be creating a great product and its utility. If you haven't designed a prototype or found a manufacturer yet, and choose to instead focus on whether to package the product with self-stick plastic labels over paper, you're jerking off. If you're asking about logos and business cards, and again, you don't have a product prototyped, you're jerking off. If you're asking tax questions, as you know, you're going to be making millions next month, you're jerking off. My answer to these questions: if you want to buy a Ferrari, don't ask what color to buy, ask what you need to do to afford it. Asking anything else that won't get you from is a waste of energy. Worrying about step 32? You're wasting energy, time. Jerking off. If you don't get to step 32, you won't have a step 32 to worry about. If you are looking for the answers to every step along the journey before starting in any endeavor, you will never start. That scenario doesn't exist and it never will. For those of you who are not engaged in some type of process yet, there is only one step to understand, conquer, and solve. And that's that step when you choose the color of your Ferrari. That's step 1500, and sorry friend, you have 1499 more steps to solve. Focus on solving them when they become a part of your today. Start solving. Start learning. Start doing. And start seeing results. But how do I start? I don't want you to tell me the exact steps, but can you tell me the exact steps, please? Thanks. But I have an idea. Now can I pick the color? Hi, I have read all the gold threads and none of them help explain which color Ferrari I should get. Perhaps you should set up an insider call to help all of us having trouble choosing our color. MJ, I think you've just started a huge train here. By the way, I'm not buying a Ferrari, so which Lamborghini do I buy? You should go red. Always go red. How much did the Ferrari cost? Mine will be red next month when I have sales. Damn, I wish I could have read and understood that 4 years ago, MJ. Once I got my head out of the clouds and realized I was the biggest thing hold up my success. Every day I've tried to do something towards my end goal of financial freedom. You guys are a regular riot. Also, being able to afford a Ferrari isn't success. You can lease a 360, yes, a red one for $2,000 a month and have the owner cover all needed repairs and whatnot for a little extra. If you're comfortable with what you currently have and just wanna swing your dick around, build or buy a business that can make you a passive $2,000 a month. It's just a car. But wait. Before you tell me what color I should get. Can you tell me which MLM I should join? You know. The one that will make me the most money. You know, cause all I want is money, cause I have bills, you know. Funny, I clicked on this thread, and immediately thought, shit, who's wasting our time now? I was pleasantly surprised by a great post. I used to be like what you described. Thinking, dreaming, etc. At some point, something changed early last year and I forgot about the color of the Ferrari. All I could focus on was business. I noticed that a couple of entrepreneur friends I had could only talk about the high life and Ferraris, Lamborghinis, etc. That's when I noticed that hey, I used to do that, too. It was pure mental masturbation. Now, all I can think about is how I can get to the next level, that next step. The Ferrari see completely forgotten, for now. When I see one, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember I want that. Then, I think, how do I get there and forget about it again? Great post. Rep transferred? So what color? Red. May. I'll start something tomorrow, I promise. For the moment I'll just be thinking about what color shall I choose for the seats of my Berlinetta. I really don't know. This looks like a great thread. I'll be sure to read it tomorrow when I have time. I admit that I had a mindset similar to this. I was a entrepreneur. Always thinking about material things, money, easiness, events. Things that had absolutely nothing to do with building a successful business or providing value to consumers. Sure, a successful business can fund these things, nothing wrong with that. But look at the process of building a successful business and you will find that none of these things have anything to do with it. Do you really think that your customers care if you drive a 5 Series BMW versus a 1992 Toyota Corolla? I started to become successful when I focused on boring and difficult business opportunities. Why? Because your chances of success go up when your entrepreneurial process is more effed up and difficult. Paradox. I also started making money when I actually stopped giving a FCK about money. You should get excited when your entrepreneurial journey is difficult because it means your chances of success are high. Likewise, the easier your journey, the less chances of success you have. This is a video of a 60 Minutes special on Nick Saban, head coach of Alabama football. It had a big impact on me when I first saw it. It greatly sums up where one's focus should be. Keep in mind, this is a guy who could just dial it in and cruise, but he refuses to. LOL. Funny thread. But yay! I got my blinders onto those kinds of threads now. It's almost usually the same thing contextually anyway. These stories usually go, 1. Be broke. 2. Read. 3. Brain starts to fizzle with wishful thinking and then suddenly, lightning strikes the idea. 4. Start having fantasies about being rich. 5. Visit forums to circle jerk while simultaneously forgetting about the entire process of achieving said fantasy or dream or idea. Honestly, I think this is just the natural bell curve to the cycle of entrepreneurship. The serious ones will stick it out and make something happen. We've already had some successes bred on this forum. You forgot. 6. Post excited intro and proclaim how you're going to make $10 million in 10 months. 7. Disappear next day, go back to your job, and never return. The more one emphasizes winning, the less he or she is able to concentrate on what actually causes success. Like little kids in the backseat. Are we there yet? Get where you're going 1 mile marker at a time. Success doesn't come from pie in the sky thinking. It's the result of consciously doing something each day that will add to your overall excellence. I love Nick Saban. I'm also reading Ryan Holiday, The Obstacle is the Way. That was me not long ago. I only clicked on this because I was 90% sure it would be one of MJ's threads. What do you know? It's like hoping that you will get a girlfriend by jerking off all day in your room. Sorry buddy. Doesn't work that way. Funny story, I knew a girl in high school, real bitchy or snooty type. Her parents had an Audi and an Infiniti sedan. Big house. When she turned 16, they leased her a brand new BMW SUV. Later crashed. Somewhere in the middle of our junior or senior year, I forget now, her father declared bankruptcy. Literally all of those years it was about showing off the wealth, when in reality they had very little. Likewise, I was friends with someone whose parents owned a car dealership, winery, and bus company. Yet if you ever saw this guy or his family you would have no idea. They all did their clothes shopping at Walmart, no joke. And literally in his family drove a 15-year-old starting to rust pickup truck. I hadn't read at the time, but even then I remembering realizing just how ironic and polar opposite these two situations were. The broke family going out of their way to show people they have cash. And the affluent family going out of their way to avoid showing off money. That is true in a way. They just call it Ms. Thumb and her 4 daughters. Or Rosie Palm and her 5 sisters. LOL, I'm excited for the new book. I hope it drives stuff like this home. I'll pull a quote out just for you. I know you'll like it. Of course, the millennials here are the exception. The millennials I see working at In-N-Out Burger through the plate glass window are the exception. These youngsters have the huge advantage over the consensus. Wow, that is so true. I'm salivating at the release of this book. After reading the first one like 4 times now, it'll be awesome to have more fast lane insights. I feel compelled to make a side note. Looking at that book excerpt, this is part of the reason the ghostwriting model doesn't work for me. A voice like that can't be duplicated for any price. Just saying. Thought I would look this up. You were talking about millennials working and again I feel old lol. My daughter was born in 2000 and my son in 2003. I wanted to see if they were millennials. He knew I was Generation X. My niece is Y and my kids are apparently Z according to this article. I had never heard the term before. Looks like it's going to get worse before it gets better. I am glad I am attempting to change the path for my Zs. Red is too much common color, so I think you should go for yellow. You were correct. I love it. Lol, this thread reminds me of my intentions when I first joined. I was planning to write an excellent heartfelt thread asking for £1 million. Then I was mentally masturbating over what I was going to invest the £1 million in. I found this forum by looking for a community of millionaires. I was thinking stuff like, if someone has 20 million, why don't they give 1 million to me? I never got around to making the thread though, haha. Thankfully I have changed now. Since I've read the book and loads of posts on here, I have changed my perspective. I came here for the wrong intentions, then benefited from the knowledge thanks to MJ and all of the Fastlane community. This experience of mine kind of gives you a lesson. Whatever thoughts you get, execute them. You may never know what gems you find. Sorry, I'm not good at creating my own words of wisdom lol. I hope you get what I mean. Or whatever business ideas you have, execute them and fail so you can learn from your mistakes. I prefer the Jaguar, but I already picked out the color a year ago. It's either the silver, blue, or black. Maybe I'll just have all 3. I just did that during free time. Well, now kind of like recess in between working and studying. Yes, most people live out there in the past dwelling in the backstory. Other people are dwelling in dreamland. The only place to be is now. Create or co-create. I used to hate my mentor in 2010. She wouldn't let me say anything unless it was about creating something or co-creating something like art, writing, project, in the now. If it was anything about anyone else, or backstory, it was like where you at? Where should you be? Today, after 4 years of this, I can tell you I understand everything she was trying to teach me. I listened and applied. Even if I didn't understand her method. Focus, focus, focus. I wasn't allowed to rant, complain, think about anything, or say anything but what was right in front of me. That's hard at first, but something important. Fortunately MJ is being too easy. Lol. This is an instant winner. As someone who graduated from the university last year, I felt invincible as well. Until I read this passage. Reminds me of the HBO show The Wire. Where you see the new kids on the block trying hard to look tough and hang out with the big boys. Graduates, me included, are like these new wannabe gangster. Zero street credibility, but they go out and act tough. until they see that their expensive toys and attitude are worthless against the real deal, or if they have some difficulties. You can only learn it the hard way. I'm glad I'm into entrepreneurship and not into gangstership. Failure doesn't mean death. Took this from Ryan Holiday's site. Here he is talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger. All the obstacles he had to go through. I wonder, did he stop and say, I wonder what color my Ferrari should be, when I am filthy rich? So let me tell you, as you prepare to go off into the world, remember 6 rules: trust yourself, break some rules, don't be afraid to fail, ignore the naysayers, work like hell, and give something back. Arnold Schwarzenegger. I think we should have awards for these types of things. I know it's vain, but if people ask, we will blame it on that. I think the best one that I can remember was, make me a millionaire and I will give most of it away to charity. This is the problem I have. After I get past my own setbacks, I stop here because I don't know how to or what to. In chapter 37 megajoules you talk about giving your road a destination, define your lifestyle, etc. After I have defined what you want to earn each month and the type of lifestyle you want to sustain, I don't know what approach to take. How do you know what business or method to pursue that will have the potential to earn you that much so you can then get passionate about the idea to then attempt it? You mentioned 3 fast lane interstates and 7 internet business models. If you have defined what you want, how do you connect these to what you defined for yourself? Are you not just picking methods to earn money again? Your premise is that monthly figure which you outlined. The how is my biggest problem and the biggest setback. Haha, this reminded me of a situation I was in not too long ago. A close friend of mine had an awesome idea for a website. He was dying for my help, no job, needed money, living in his parents' house at the age of 32. I decided to help, even though I was super busy with my own projects. The idea was good. I suggested a few things which follows Fastlane guidelines and made it a monthly membership style site which provided value. All I asked from him in return was to contact a couple hundred listings and do some marketing. He didn't have any cash. I forked over $500 of my own just to help this guy out, and I spent a week building about 80% of the website on my own. I required programmers and developers to finish the rest in order to finish and automate things, resulting in another $800 approximately as I was building the site. All he talked about was numbers. Holy shit, if we sell 100 of the $100 or month packages we'll be making 10K or month. Fukia, we're gonna go to Cuba, we're gonna buy this and that. I'm like, dude, worry about making one sale before 100, FK and relax. Every day, all I heard about was his BS stories about what he's going to do with the money. The next day it would be, man, we can easily make 25K or month with 250 subscriptions. The site is not even done yet and I'm hearing this BS every day, annoying the fuck out of me. When it came time for him to do any work, he didn't have time. When it came time to pitch in cash, this guy didn't have a dime. I didn't want to fork over 800 just BC of his attitude, exact resemblance of this thread. The weekend comes, I see this guy blowing $1,000 on gambling, hundreds in clubs, presents for XGFS, clothes, etc. etc. I scraped everything and told this pose where to go. Moral of the story is, I'm stealing this from it and adding a bit to it. Don't be a bottom-feeding mooching dickhead. This confusion about events over process is what most probably prevents many people from actually moving forward. If you are at step 01, trying to jump to step 10 without thinking about the steps in between, it simply won't work. Sticking to a linear process, determined and focused on accomplishing this one next step will also solve the biggest problem most people just starting out on their entrepreneurial journeys face, being overwhelmed. They think about how they will learn about taxes, social insurance, engineering, etc. They buy a ton of books, research the web, read a bunch of articles about 5 different topics, not only one. If you are figuring out what your business will be, focus on the idea and don't read about accounting issues. If you don't have a prototype that works and that people actually want to use since it is solving a problem they are facing, don't waste time building a fancy website to display your product. Which product exactly? People used to ask about the precise steps they have to take. Even if you provided them with a list of 1,500 steps, I am almost sure that many would try to skip the boring parts, where hard work, persistence and determination is required. The entrepreneurial journey is not a fancy endeavor, but you have to be willing to get your hands dirty. This is why the following quote is still valid, and will always be: entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so you can spend the rest of your life like most people can't. Warren G. Tracy's student. This is what separates the real entrepreneurs from the rest. Use your brain. Embrace the hard work. Focus on one step at a time. Get it done. And you will see how fast you will progress. I initially avoided this thread thinking it was going to be a facepalm. Nice surprise. I just ended a PM conversation with a forum member who basically asked me, "Want business, what do?" I literally walked him through a handful of examples and business models that are very easy to start. I even gave him examples of how I started my company, and how I've seen other companies get up and running. His responses were all, "You can't do that." I think that this post, and MJ's original, can be summed thusly: you can lead the horse to water, but you sure as hell cannot make him drink, think or do. Usually in the Marines I was the sergeant in the back kicking the weak or reluctant up the hill with a boot in their butts. It worked. Yay! This same thing happened to me after I sold my first biz. I was so enthralled in starting another biz. I realized I no longer had supercars as wallpapers, didn't care to look at expensive houses, stopped following the luxury trends. I realized that stuff is all a dried up carrot. The real fun was building and then selling the next biz. And I don't think mooching is a word commonly used in my vocabulary. The rest of that quote sounds about right. Where did I pioneer that? Lol, was it one of the "someone screwed me over" threads? I think sometimes people need to get some real motivation and get out. I went to a car show and saw a dude who looked like he was 30 driving a $1 million McLaren P1. When you see that, you get that stomach-sinking feeling as if to say, I really need to get my ass moving. It's sad to say, but seeing other people you envy whipping these cars in front of all of the spectators really fuels you to want to work for one of these, when you can see it in front of you and not just through a computer screen. It pieces it all together. I used to go to car dealerships just to look at the exotics. While it made me realize just how far away I am, and I still am, it made me want to work my ass off to get this. I added that to it. Lol. This is the same guy who recently wanted in on my business ventures after telling him what I was up to. Typical sidewalker mentality. It was that millionaire fast lane changed my life gold thread, the copyright infringement stuff. Funny thing is, there are step-by-step guides on this very forum. Want to start a supplement biz? Zen has it all written up. Want to get into importing? Bioface, Vigilante, Jadjed posted tons about this, step by step. Do you want to get into real estate or apartment investing? We have Stevio with a lengthy thread about it. Want to create a product and get licensing? Read The Licensing Game by Vigilante, it's all there. Self-publishing, tons of threads on here about that. Low on cash? You have a thread about this. The problem is, these FK and PPL want everything given to them on a silver platter, no effort, not a second invested, not a penny invested. They want it all. The idea, the product, the source. The hard shit which these lazy asses are too lazy to do. For those PPL, entrepreneurship is simply not for them. Get a job and play the lottery and keep praying your numbers come out. It's too much work though, bro. I don't want to do it. I just want you to repeat the same thing over and over so that I can think about it a lot. BRB. America's Got Talent is on. One of the greatest rags to riches success stories in the history of Western civilization. What he had to overcome to be successful is unbelievable. Those of you who haven't read his bio Total Recall, you should, at least the first half of it. Arnold set specific goals and hit them. He wanted to buy an apartment complex the 1970s, he owns tons of real estate now, so he figured out a way and did it. He then flipped complexes a few times and became a millionaire long before the Terminator. He wanted to be a bodybuilding champion, so he figured out a way and did it. 7 or 8 times he wanted to be an actor, so he figured out a way and did it. And went on to make 20 million a picture. He wanted to be governor of CA, so he figured out a way and did it. And got re-elected in a landslide. Arnold's process: set one large goal, put all of my effort and energy toward hitting that one goal. Once I hit that large goal, set another large goal and repeat. The amazing thing is all of his results were far greater than he imagined them to be. As Nick Saban says, when you focus on the process, winning will happen as a result. And, I might add, he married JFK's niece. And he's Republican. Keep on posting inspirational posts. Someday I'm going to make it big. No, not today. Let me find some more motivational threads and jerk off. Part of the reason for this is the fear of failure. I know we talk a lot about entitlement around here, but people are deathly afraid of failing, which is a huge reason for this mentality. People are so afraid they are going to wind up homeless, or bankrupt, or lose their house, or their spouse or partner, that they don't want to fail at all. So they keep looking for magic. Not me, I'm magic, not magic. I now view failing as a positive thing, not a negative one. But before I came to this forum, failing was really scary, even though I have failed a ton already. The fear of failure keeps people from going. They play it safe and in turn, get safe, mediocre results. Reading the posts from it has taught me that pushing hard, going all in, not being a pansy, and saying damn the torpedoes, full speed ahead is what makes someone successful. When it comes down to 2 options, be wildly successful or go down in flames, you are forced to change, sometimes gradually, into a better person. But you have to risk failing first, or you won't get there. So, I think it's a mixture of entitlement and fear of failure. I'd say entitlement is more common with sidewalkers and fear of failure is more common with slow laners. But both are a problem. Zen is dead on. Hey, we have a thread on mentality and psychology as well from Ice Cream Kid. If you're afraid of the risks and failure, once again this isn't for you. I've been in the corporate world for many years. People who have been there for 40+ years. They're happy with a comfy 9-to-5 job making 50K or waiting for retirement at 65, kudos to them. I won't accept that lifestyle. I bet you 9 or 10 people here have failed before striking something successful. I've lost thousands in multiple business ventures in the past few years. If I hit a homer on the first pitch, fantastic. Even though I failed multiple times and lost a ton of cash. Doesn't change my end goal. I learned a lot from those experiences and I'm still learning a ton from the people off this forum, which is helping me getting closer and closer to my goals. I can relate this to pickup. People are afraid of rejection. Why am I alone? I never get laid, etc. blah. How many girls have you approached today, this week, this month? 0. Step out of your comfort zone. Pickup is a numbers game. Approach 10 to 15 people today. Educate yourself, improve yourself. Within weeks, you'll start seeing results. I promise you. Let me tell you something you already know. The world ain't all sunshine and rainbows. It is a very mean and nasty place, and it will beat you to your knees and keep you there permanently if you let it. You, me, or nobody is gonna hit as hard as life. But it ain't how hard you're hit, It's about how hard you can get hit, and keep moving forward. How much you can take, and keep moving forward. That's how winning is done. Now, if you know what you're worth, then go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hit, and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you are because of him, or her, or anybody. Cowards do that and that ain't you. You're better than that, Rocky Balboa. Most people do not know that he was a millionaire before he got into acting. From all the real estate deals, I understand this. But I still can't get enough of being reminded of its importance, and I know it's because I spent so much time bouncing around to different steps when working on X, resulting in a list of half-assed or uncompleted steps and leading to the inevitable point of discouragement. Ugh, what a vicious cycle. If there's anyone reading this, who hasn't plugged this leak in their boat yet, this might be the next step that allows you to move forward. I know it was a huge one for me. Great read as always, MJ. In and out. Why did I move to the east? I will buy a Veyron and post the pictures was another legendary example. A tire change on a Veyron costs $20,000 because it uses one-off compounds that have to be sourced from France. I wonder if the op in that thread got hit with that bill out of the blue today. Could he cover it? To use MJ's example, that's like step 50,000 rather than step 1. For $20 you can have many Ferraris in the color of the rainbow. I have seen that thread. I will admit though, he'd make a good fictional writer. Maybe he should start a business doing just that. I always laugh when I see posts like this. My recent favorite was buying a Bugatti, and I'll post pics to prove it. No one cares if you buy a Bugatti or a house with 30 full baths besides all the slow laners. What are you trying to prove? That your 1.2 meters went to showboat to people. Look, I finally made it, and then complains about people trying to mooch off him or her. You're just asking for trouble by flaunting your wealth. The power isn't in buying the luxury item, but knowing you can afford it. In regards to people coming here for mental masturbation, I don't understand it. You can always talk about the next big idea. If we get 10,000 subscribers on the membership website, we'll be making $250K a month. Or asking for advice and gets great advice, then ignores all of it. There's a wealth of information on this forum. There's no point of being here if you don't want to keep adding tools to your toolbox. While you may not have the same business forever, the same tools that you used to create business or industry number 1 will come in handy in business or industry number 12. This is a way to get themselves pumped up. But, it's sort of like how the law of attraction guys put up the vision boards. I suppose that's okay, but why don't they ever put up a picture of thousands of satisfied customers? Or, employees celebrating a new profit target? It's always mansions, Ferraris, etc., which is fine. But, maybe mixing in some satisfied customers and some things that will get you those things makes sense. There's a huge difference between talk and motivational thinking. There's nothing wrong with wanting a nice car, even planning on having one in 3 months after you make your first $1 million. I have a notebook with the layout of my dream house, a $10 million castle I will have custom built. I know where the freaking toilets are going. Nothing wrong with motivating yourself to succeed. But the moment you open your mouth about it, you start the downward spiral. You start thinking you're a hotshot because you have an idea. You exhaust all your steam talking about the dream. You fulfill your wishes mentally and have no drive to actually attain them anymore. The masturbation analogy is right on. Maybe you get a kick out of it for a few minutes, but it spends your energy and doesn't get you anywhere. Said, I have $20. What color Ferrari do I buy when I succeed? Using this same theme, I love it when people say that it will be too difficult to decide what color Ferrari to buy, so it doesn't make any sense to even try to achieve success. Lol. Can anybody please help answer these questions? Dude. Go and read an Ice Cream Kids thread on how to serve others. Then work out your mental muscles by coming up with 5 ideas a day. If you find one that's interesting, then do the rapid validation method to see if it's worth pursuing. Or pick an industry that you have some feeling for and do the idea extraction thing and see if you can identify a need, then fill that need. I totally realize that I am a green NOOB at business and entrepreneurship. Having said that, it seems as if the vast majority of your posts involve asking someone to think for you. Best of luck. Someone needs to make a pre-written reply to these posts. No shit. In fact, I just had a mind-blowing idea about a way that I can serve my target audience in a big way. I don't understand how people can't just think and listen to people and not come up with a ton of ideas to help them. Because people don't care and are lazy. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Lao Tzu: start with step 1 and work your way up to that event. It's progress, my friends. The clock is running. Make the most of today. Time waits for no man. Yesterday is history. Tomorrow is a mystery. Today is a gift. That's why it is called the present. Eleanor Roosevelt: better use the time effectively because you're limited on time. Stop masturbating to the event. Just focus on the progress and you'll get there. Dwell in your past mistakes and you won't get anywhere. You guys are thinking too small. What color plus materials and precious metals should I put inside the Boeing 777 LOL? I've realized now by spending some time on this forum that I'm a huge entrepreneur. I must change. I'm reading everything I can on this forum, as well a lot of books on startup or entrepreneurship. Need to stop mentally masturbating and get my shit together. It's easy for me to be idle and blame it on the fact that I'm only 18, but I bet I'll think the exact same shit when I'm 23. At the end of the day, action is the only thing that matters. Thanks guys for helping me realize this. This forum's a huge wake-up call. Have you read the book? You need to read it, like now. If you think this forum is a wake-up call, then the book is like having a cold fish bee slap across your face wake-up call. The fact that you're here on this forum at your age is a great start, but having the ability to introspect and truly and honestly see where you're at compared to where you want to be is one of the traits of entrepreneurship. Welcome to the fast lane. Thanks for the reply, and yes, I've read the book twice. I guess I should try to find a mentor while brainstorming ideas, and learning everything I can. I'll try going to seminars, or any other places entrepreneurs might go. Just met an entrepreneur the other day at the gym that told me to study Dan Kennedy. Going to give that a shot as well. I need to start bootstrapping too, as I want to quit my job as a grocery clerk. Just my contrarian yen, like Muhammad Ali once said, it ain't bragging if you can back it up. Success is elusive for many whether they got Ferrari dreams or not. Generally speaking, there are no rules to success, just do you, and the results will speak whether you are humble or arrogant. Be well, my friends. Dude, this forum is not an idea booth, it is a resource to cut the learning curve. You are still treating this like a job. It's not. You will win or lose because of yourself. It is totally up to you. Some people like that and need their hand held. My answer to all of your questions is, figure it out because you are the CEO. People on this forum have a wealth of knowledge. Some are extremely successful, while others are up and coming. Think of this forum as a tool. Search the forum. None of us are going to hold your hand. What you are asking is simply something that you can only answer yourself. You come up with something. Ask yourself, is this of value? In the meantime, read this, and this. The timing of this thread is funny. Mrs. John and I are forming a new LLC. We're on step 2. The other day she wanted to discuss step 32. I asked her what color of checks did she want to order. Instant refocus. I love how this turned into everyone yelling "Stop masturbating" at each other in 3 pages. OMG, my new favorite catchphrase. That was a good one. Someone should create a poster or meme for something like this. You actually distilled life. So simple, just not easy. Follow the step A, B, C, D, E, etc. I repeat, she immediately got the point. Smart gal. Why? If you're too lazy to use the search tool, you're too lazy to take action on any real-life game plan. Here's my advice. It's harsh, but if you listen to it, it will help you. Anytime you find yourself saying "I want to make money," bitch slap yourself. Then say to yourself, never mind, I want to create value. Money flows to people who create value in the world. Stop thinking about what sort of lifestyle you want and start thinking about how you can improve mankind. Have faith that if you are a person who brings value to the world, then wealth will come to you. If you have an idea on how to create value, then try it out. If no one uses it, then try something else. Every religious or philosophical book out there talks about why being selfless is a virtue. This is ancient wisdom, man. Listen to it. NVM, need to post in MJ's thread with the idea to create a forum bot that direct auto replies with the top 3 threads to answer the newbie question. Think we would all chip in for it, would clean up the forum a little, would lead to fewer laughs, but would get us all refocused on why we are here. Had a client, took over a business, spent the first month painting and repainting their entire office to get it the right color. They did not have walk-in customers. Was a manufacturing shop. They have not surpassed $26 billion in sales, to say the least. What? OMG, so true. This has been true for decades and it's getting even worse. Anyone here play chess or drafts? When I was in school, the amount of people who said they were good but when you start winning they just quit or say the game is boring and quit. My nephew 12 won't play any game unless he can win. If he's losing he will quit before he actually loses. My dad never let me win ever. He let me have chances if I made a silly move, but he never lets anyone win. But parents nowadays let their kids win games to make them feel better. These kids grow up thinking they can always win, and when they lose they are upset. Teachers are also guilty of letting everyone win, or playing a game where there is no scorekeeping so nobody is the loser. They are taking the easy way out because they know kids will be upset if they lose. Every time I lost a game I would want a rematch. I will keep coming back until I won. The first rule of any game, can. I was thinking like this about a month ago. As in what car I was going to get, things like that. But I had to realize vehicles change year, and I like something else. But that's not it. Instead of focusing on what car I will get, it's a waste of time. Like you said, it could be months, years, or a decade or 2 before I achieve such level. This is so good. I deal with this all the time. I know people who talk about spending more money on infrastructure to make sure their unlaunched, unproven website with 0 traffic will scale once it goes viral. The only right and sensible color to go with would be pastel. I would rock this thing so hard, yeah, drool. I think we should take this thread more seriously. I feel like it's mocking people who can't decide on the color of their Ferrari. I'm sure many poor souls have spent months, even years contemplating the color, and they come here begging for help and we shoot them down. All that time that couldn't been out towards entrepreneurship. Anyways, my Ferrari is gonna be ninja black. Don't hate. I'm not gonna lie, I am a entrepreneur. I'm learning though, very painfully. Painful as in tears rolling down my cheeks and late nights. I'm learning, and that's all that matters. I have learned so much from this forum and other entrepreneur sites, that I'm a way different person than last year. Still learning though. Thought of this thread this morning. It's kinda sad because some people really have the motivation, but don't know where to start. And it's not as easy when you're doing everything on your own. It's easier to complete work at a salary job because you've been told what to do, and someone else has figured out a system that makes their business exist. Holy crap. As I was reading that post I thought to myself, did I write that shit? But then I read Blue Cepheus Lamborghini, and sigh of relief came to me as I realized I wasn't the one who wrote that shit. Phew. Or it could be join, start a business or side project. Fail at it. Start another business, do marginally okay but figured it's like replacing your job and there's no scale. Well duh. Shut it down. In between, life happens and you forget you signed up at the forum and you don't post or visit. Start new business. Ups and downs and disputes with co-founders. Eventually close. Start another business. Aha, it makes money. Slow uphill climb, bummed at no exponential curve up like you see on those graphs at all those venture capital meetings. How come all those guys' graphs and charts all look like that and they have no revenue? I should go get me a graph like that for my pitch, eh? Oh whatever, I'll just keep working on the slow uphill lean bootstrap way. Got another 10 plus more business ideas to start if it doesn't work out and gotta check off that list. But wait, I have a little tiny bit of downtime. I'm going to check in it to see how everyone is doing and if there's a lot of new millionaires yet. Gotta see how far behind I am. Haha. Well, I actually don't care and don't really compare myself, but it'll be cool to see how many new millionaires on the forum anyway because it's motivating to see. So, how many of you got new Ferraris? Post new pictures of it. You have to show it off. BTW, my driving sucks. I was thinking that I'll just have someone drive me around in a limo when I get rich and not worry about traffic. Is that more expensive than buying a Ferrari? Oops. Guess that's a step. Number 1500 or question. Ugh. These questions sounds like the stuff my broke friends say all the time. I don't know how or I don't know what to do or what business to start. Geez, it's like asking people to do all the thinking for you. How can someone tell you exactly what business you should do or road to take? They don't know your likes, skills, or what you can do or how motivated you are, or how much time or money you have to do it. Start a list of ideas, and underneath each idea write down your skill set, what you need to execute that idea, and the actionable steps to take. Then prioritize which ones you like or love or feel passionate about and then you go and do it. Then if that idea fails, refer back to your list and start on the next one. I really hope if I ever say that, someone please shake me or give me a wake-up call and tell me to snap out of it. I've started keeping an ideas notebook so that helps tremendously, and also, when I write it down in the notebook I don't have to keep all these ideas in my head and it makes it easier to think of new things. A couple of months ago I started making a list of 10 to 20 ideas every day. The ideas didn't have to be great, they just had to be ideas for a business, for an app, for a revenue stream, etc. Then on the next page I would write what would be my first step in execution. That's it. I've been doing it for a few months now and it's really helping me in not only coming up with good ideas, but also getting past the mindset of having to know every step of the way before you even start. All you need to know is the first step. Get a test RSA, I look at M on every day lol #mental masturbator or #lol. Riot because of not taking even the smallest amount of info serious or riot cuz it's so hilarious. Sounds like they may have been rappers. Wow, that was an old post you just quoted, haha. I genuinely have no idea what her father did for work, so I suppose that's as good a guess as any. I unfriended 95% of the people I went to high school with, plus I never use Facebook anyway, so no real way of knowing. High school reunion is in a few years I think, so maybe I'll be able to see where she ended up. I am curious to see the people whose lives peaked at age 16. A few of my friends and I have money on certain people. No worries. I'm new, so I'm looking at everything lol. I'm looking to learn from the mistakes of others and gain insight. Your comment made me think. I'm not wealthy, but thankfully we don't chase an image to impress others. I just read a quote kinda like this: the key to success is to start before you're ready. Reminded me of it, haha. Start doing. Begin trial and error. After that, take notes on what works versus what didn't. Then improve your process and begin trial and error again. This is superb. Thank you. But for 1972, Arnold did eventually say he got the story from another bodybuilder who didn't see his father during the funeral for the bodybuilding contest. But he did attend his father's. This thread describes me. I was so happy when I landed this job about 7 to 8 months ago, because it paid so well. I was going to be making at least $40K a year, and I was going to be tripling my income over my last position. So what did I do? After a month or two of working there, I decided I needed a new car. That I deserved it. I had been through the pain 2 years of making under $18K a year, and now I decided I needed a reward. An expensive reward. I was going to every car dealer in the area, test driving multiple cars, even ones I couldn't afford. Putting on a show for the salesperson just so he would let me in the car. Pure and utter mental masturbation. But then disaster almost struck. There was this really good salesman at a Dodge dealership that brought leasing to my attention. I almost walked out of there with F-King 45K 2015 Dodge Charger ROT, loaded up with options and in a cherry red color. It was a 3-year lease, with payments of at least $450 a month. My insurance was set to go up from $120 to $350 a month as well. And as I was sitting there, I desperately was trying to deceive myself into thinking it was a good idea. I deserved this, no matter what it cost. In the end, the bank ended up coming back and changing the terms, which would have put the payment up another $100 a month and the down payment another $1,000. So I walked. But I was this close to making a terrible, terrible decision that would have followed me years to come, just because I was convinced that I deserved a reward for my small amount of limited success. I was trying to skip step 7 to 27 and go directly to step 28. Pure mental masturbation. I feel almost disgusted, embarrassed for myself looking back on that, the fact that I was that close to making that big of a mistake. Funny thing is, I was the daredevil, afraid of nothing guy. Then I had a big failure. Then came the divorce. The debts. The pain. Having to move into your brother's garage with only your bed and your clothes. Lost the houses. I can't recall anymore in what order things happened. So, yeah, failure happens. And it is painful. And when it is just you, that is kinda okay. But when you have a family that depends on you, then things take a whole different connotation. Anyway, I want my Lambo in yellow. Just kidding, I have no car right now and I'm loving it. Reading this makes me smile. I would prefer a white Ferrari, just like in The Wolf of Wall Street. Anyway, I am far away from that. Let me introduce myself before I spam this thread. I'm Patrick, I'm 25 years old and I'm from Germany. Yeah, you'll probably laugh, but I submitted my first iOS game just yesterday and it's going to launch in May. It took me almost 2 years to figure everything out, from programming to building a landing page. If you don't mind, give me a quick feedback. The site is cheers. Funny how this works. When I had enough money to buy the cars that we wanted, we purchased a new loaded Infiniti FX and Mini Cooper for the wife. I had looked at BMW and Lexus as well. We sold the Infiniti because we did not really care about the luxury items. We sold the Mini because it was not practical. We drive a Camry and Tundra now. Both bought new with cash. Neither of us wanted anything flashy or luxury. Wow, this is powerful. I keep getting trapped into thinking about what I want, how much money I want, what kind of house I want to live in, what kind of car I want to drive. I know I need to focus on providing value, but I keep falling back to my old self. Thanks for the reminder. Stop focusing on the Ferrari, focus the Bentley. This thread puts things in the correct perspective. Thanks, MJ. I will do my best to not become another shooting star inside here. It is because of my journey after and now that my whole perspective changed regarding business. In business school PSHHHH, they taught us that people go into business to make a profit, full stop. The fun part about building great businesses is the ability to overcome challenges in the form of that product or service or idea or movement in which, once well executed, the profits are the rewards and usually the last part after helping others. Bump. When you're starting a business, there are things to worry about, and things not to worry about. Focus on Pagani. Why do you need the dread Ferrari when you have $20 for a toy Pagani? Bump. I recognize myself in this. Point taken. It's been mentally stimulating to just immerse myself in the forum over the past couple of days. But nothing matters except action. Consistent action. Real-world action, to move from step 1 to step 2. Time to buckle down and get to work. Bump. Wow, how time flies by. I remember reading this thread last year when I had nothing. Now, I really am thinking about the color of my new Ferrari or Lambo for next summer. Got to F-Type R for this summer. Hell, might even get a white Lambo use for the winter. My philosophy is very simple. If you want, and you can, why the hell not? I love supercars, I can afford most of them currently, so why the hell shouldn't I enjoy my limited time on this planet? I'm reading a lot of posts lately on cars on the Drive a Crappy Car thread, and there seems to be a misconception: the ones that are rich and do not drive a supercar, is because they don't enjoy supercars. It's that simple. And then there's the few people that say, oh, anyone can lease a Ferrari, doesn't mean they're rich. Well, can you afford $4,000 plus CAD or month payments on only a car plus insurance and not live on the streets? Or it's just that they can and choose not to because it's not their cup of tea, or they've been there, done that. I'm all for spending your hard-earned cash on what you enjoy, not what anyone else says. You earned it, now enjoy it. I take issue with certain billionaires, like the guy who spends $100,000 on a watch, and then is seen proselytizing on CNBC with such garbage as drive a used car if you want to get rich and invest it in an index fund and wear cheap suits. Meanwhile, he showed up at the CNBC studio in a $4,000 leather jacket. How? Not because of indexed funds. 100% agree. Thank you, MJ, for this forum and the books you've written. I literally started fixing my lack of execution a few months ago. I am 40 years now and have not been wealthy yet. I started the process and am executing daily. It has been 3 months. Want am documenting to see how the steps evolve. Who the hell buys a silver Ferrari? Holy crap, what an ugly color. 360 are one of my favs and it needs to be red. That would be me. I buy all my cars in silver. Ah, nice pick. Any plans for a new car? Still got the McLaren?